Hey, stories of the Soul fam. We've got a swoon-worthy love story for you today. Let's jump in and tell us. What cities are I never expected a single knock on my bedroom door to change the entire direction of my life? That evening, as golden sunlight spilled through the curtains, my sister, Aisha, peeked inside with her mischievous smile, the kind that always meant trouble. "Get dressed," she said, hands on her hips. "I'm introducing you to some people today." I groaned. "More of your matchmaking schemes?" "Not at all," she replied, but her smirk betrayed her. "Just trust me." Reluctantly, I agreed. Aisha had a way of pushing me out of my comfort zone, and while I usually resisted, she was rarely wrong about the things that mattered. When I stepped into our living room an hour later, 3 girls were waiting. Each one so different, yet together, they carried an energy that shifted the air around them. The first was Zara, dressed in soft pastel colors. Her eyes carried a warmth that reminded me of spring mornings, and her voice, when she greeted me, was calm but confident. She gave off an aura of quiet strength, someone who had seen pain, yet chose kindness. Beside her stood Layla, whose laughter echoed like wind chimes even before she said a word to me. She was bold, unapologetic, the kind of person who made everyone turn their head when she entered a room. Her dark curls framed her face wildly, perfectly matching her fiery personality. And then there was Noor. She barely met my eyes, her gaze darting away shyly, but there was something magnetic about her silence. She clutched a worn-out book in her hand, as if it were her shield, and when she finally whispered "hi," it felt like a secret shared only with me. The evening unfolded in unexpected ways. Aisha busied herself with snacks, leaving me in the crossfire of conversations. Zara spoke about volunteering at a shelter, her passion evident in the way her hands moved as she described helping children find a sense of belonging. She wasn't just talking, she was painting hope with her words. Layla, on the other hand, filled the room with stories of her adventures, midnight road trips, daring climbs up hills, arguments that turned into laughter. "Life is too short to be boring," she declared, raising her soda like a toast. And Noor. She barely spoke, but when she did, it was always profound. She quietly quoted a line from her book. "Sometimes silence is the loudest cry for connection." The way she said it made me pause, as though she were revealing a piece of her soul. I realized, sitting among them, that each girl reflected something I lacked. Zara's compassion, Layla's courage, Noor's depth. They weren't just strangers, they were mirrors, each showing me a version of myself I hadn't discovered yet. But the night didn't end with laughter. It ended with a question, one that would mark the beginning of a journey I couldn't have imagined. As the girls prepared to leave, Zara turned to me and asked, "What are you passionate about?" I froze. Passion? Dreams? I had none, or at least I thought I didn't. My life until then had been routine, predictable. School, work, scrolling through endless screens. No direction, no fire. "I don't know," I admitted. The 3 of them exchanged glances, a silent agreement passing between them. And then Layla grinned. "Then maybe we can help you find out." That was the moment I realized. This wasn't just a casual introduction. My sister had opened a door to something far greater, and whether I was ready or not, I was about to step through it. The days after that meeting with Zara, Layla, and Noor felt different. It was as if their presence had cracked something inside me, a shell I didn't even know I was trapped in. I found myself thinking about their words, their energy, the way they carried themselves. And for the first time in years, I felt a restlessness to be more. Zara was the first to reach out. She invited me to visit the community shelter where she volunteered. At first I hesitated, crowds made me uncomfortable, but something in her calm insistence made me agree. When I arrived, I expected pity and sadness. Instead, I was greeted by children with bright eyes, laughing as they played games, drawing pictures, tugging at Zara's hands. Watching her interact with them was like watching light itself move through a room. She wasn't just giving them food or clothes, she was giving them dignity, hope. One little boy, barely 8 years old, clung to my arm and asked, "Will you come again?" His small voice cut through me. In that instant, I realized how empty my life had been compared to this. Helping them didn't drain me. It filled me. That night, Zara's words replayed in my head. Kindness isn't weakness. It's the strongest choice you can make. For the first time, I wanted to choose strength. Then came Layla. She was the complete opposite. Loud, daring, fearless. She dragged me into situations I never thought I'd survive. One weekend, she convinced me to join her on a hiking trip. I protested the entire ride, pointing out every reason I would probably slip and fall to my death. Layla only laughed, telling me I needed to shut up and live a little. By the time we reached the top, my legs burned and sweat soaked through my shirt. But when I looked down at the endless stretch of valley below, something shifted. The air was crisp, my lungs ached, but I felt alive in a way I never had before. "See?" Layla shouted into the wind, arms wide open. "The world isn't as scary as you think. Fear's just a story you tell yourself." Her words sank deep. I had lived too long inside my own fears, mistaking comfort for safety. Layla was teaching me that bravery wasn't a tea about the absence of fear. It was about moving forward despite it. And then there was Noor. She was the quietest, but in some ways, she changed me the most. We would sit in silence, sometimes on park benches, sometimes at the small library where she practically lived. Noor had a way of making silence comfortable, not awkward. Slowly, she started sharing pieces of herself. Her struggles with anxiety, her habit of hiding behind books, her fear of being forgotten. "You don't have to shout to matter," she once told me, her eyes focused on the pages of her novel. "Sometimes, the quietest people carry the loudest truths." One evening, she handed me a notebook. "Write," she said simply. "Whatever you feel. Don't edit it. Just let it out." I had never written seriously before, but I tried. To my surprise, the words poured out. My fears, my hopes, my confusion. It felt like unclogging a drain I didn't know was blocked. Noor read a few pages and smiled. "You have a voice," she whispered. "Don't bury it." That moment stayed with me. Writing became my outlet, my way of untangling the mess inside my head. And Noor, with her quiet wisdom, gave me the courage to embrace it. Months passed, and slowly, I was no longer the same person my sister had pushed out of his room that first evening. Zara taught me compassion. Layla gave me courage. Noor helped me find my voice. But it wasn't just about them teaching me. It was about me finally choosing to grow. The real test came one evening when Aisha found me sitting at my desk, scribbling furiously in my notebook. She glanced at the stack of pages and raised her eyebrows. "What's all this?" she asked. "A story," I said, surprising even myself. "About how 3 girls changed my life." She grinned knowingly. "Told you this would be good for you." Looking back now, I realize life doesn't always change with grand events or dramatic twists. Sometimes it changes with simple introductions, with people who see more in you than you see in yourself. Zara, Layla, and Noor weren't just friends. They were turning points. They opened doors I didn't know existed, and they gave me the courage to walk through them. And though my journey is far from over, I know one thing with certainty. Because of them, I will never live small again.